Mama, you don't need to hustle to make an income. You just need to let God be your CEO. Hustling was never God's way. When I look at Jesus and I saw the way that he did his ministry, it was never about hustle. In fact, he spent multiple hours away with God. That was the way that he recharged. That's the way he got his power, guys. He spent time with God. And when we spend time with God, that is rest, that is peace, that is not grinding, that is not hustling, and that is not pursuing the things that we think that we need. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you why we do not need to hustle to make income and why we need to let God be our CEO. Let's dive in. Here's a little background about my story. For the last 7 years, I knew that God has called me to the online space to start online businesses because one of my prayers was that I wanted to create passive income, but I also wanted to use my skills, my talents, my knowledge that God has already given to me. So I have a degree in tourism management. I was also a travel agent for a period of time. And so that's when I started my first blog in 2017. I was blogging around travel and I was traveling quite a bit as well. I started my tour company and then I started being a travel life coach, right? That's when I started in the coaching space because I really wanted to help other women to travel and be more confident because I was doing a lot of that and I loved it. So I was traveling and I was helping moms with their coaching. And over the period of time, I've transitioned to different things. I was a hypnobirthing practitioner. In 2019, I gave birth using hypnobirthing. So I gave birth naturally within 3 hours. It was amazing to me. I started helping moms to have a positive birthing experience as well. I transitioned into life coaching. So it's been a journey. And then I started creating courses. And I love that. I love courses. I still love courses very much. And I love that it's an easy way for us to set up for passive income. And when I really got the idea of courses is because I said to God, as a mom, I wanted to be a present mom. I was a stay-at-home mom, but I was identifying as a mompreneur. And when we hear mompreneur, we were working, and it's all about like this hustle and grind in the online space. I was always on Facebook, always on social media, messaging people, trying a new strategy, learning a new thing, and I was really exhausted, guys. When I had my daughter, yes, it was so much easier because she was at school and I had all this time, but I was really, really feeling overwhelmed. I was just doing too much. And so when I had my son, last year in 2024, I realized now I have two kids and I just wanted to be present with my kids. I wanted to make an income, but I wanted to be a present mom. And I said then and there, like, God, I am done with the burnout. I am identified as a stay-at-home mom making some extra cash, to making some extra income. And I said, God, I want to be able to work 1 to 2 hours per day around my family, not stressing or worrying about doing things in my business and creating this and doing that, creating another challenge and all of these things. And God sent me my step-by-step blueprint, what I shared with you in my previous video. If you did not get that video, I will link it here in the comments, right? My previous video where I'm sharing with you how I work 2 hours a day around my kids, okay? And that's when I really realized that God doesn't want us to hustle, especially if that's not what you want. If you want to be a homester, like for me, I love cooking, I love baking, I love being present for my children, I love days out, I love traveling. Like that is a huge part of my life. I was a travel life coach, right? That is a huge part of what I want to have for my kids and my family in the very near future. And so I can't be bogged down in hours and hours of work, trying to do time zones and all of these things. It was really doing my head in. And this is when I knew that hustle was not a part of God's plan for my life. What he wanted us to do is just to give our plans to him, give my business to him. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm going to share with you, how we are going to do that as well. So remember that you don't need to hustle, you don't need to grind, you just need to let God be your CEO. By the end of this video, you're going to see that hustle and grind is not God's way and you do not need to do it, and how you can let God be your CEO so that you can have peace and you can have income all at the same time. So hi, my name is Zani if you're new here, and I'm a stay-at-home mom of two, and I love passive income. I love talking about passive income and I love talking about the 2 hour workday. So my desire, my mission is to help other stay-at-home moms, other moms in general, learn how to partner with God, how to have more God, more peace, more joy, more income, more time. That is my journey to help you. I want you to be able to know that you can have the abundant life, and I'm helping you to show you that is more than possible, and you can work 2 hours per day around your children and have the life that you want to live. So let's dive into why you don't need to grind, you don't need to hustle, and how you can do it better instead. So the first thing, hustle culture versus kingdom culture. We see this all the time in the online space, the hustle and the grind culture. Everybody just like what do we say? revere or they hype it up or whatever that word you want to say, right? They make it like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. You work all the time. And listen, I'm no stranger to hard work. I'm a hardworking person. In fact, I even from university, I graduated with a first class honors degree and I worked part-time while I was studying. I'm no stranger to hard work, but I love fun. I love making my hard work fun because that is how you live in alignment. That's how you have balance in your life, right? And that's exactly how God did it. That's how Jesus showed us how he did it. It's not about grinding and hustling and doing all the things and trying to outdo each other and waking up at 5 a.m. club. Listen, I used to try to wake up at 5 o'clock, but it ain't happening, right? Because I'm not that type of person, and you don't need to be that type of a person. What you need to do is to plug into kingdom way. You need to plug into God's way. Jesus showed us, as I shared before earlier in this video, he went away, he spent hours with God, he was resting, he was praying, he was rejuvenating himself, and then he came and he showed up in power. This is why Jesus said in one of the times when one of the disciples were trying to cast out a demon from this little girl in one of the gospels, and the disciples were trying and it wasn't working, and Jesus came and obviously he cast out the devil, and they were like, why wasn't it working? And Jesus said, so these kinds come only out by fasting and praying. Do you know why? Jesus was showing us that when he spent time with God, fasting, humbling himself before God, praying, he comes out with power. And in the same way that we are called to do this as well, set aside time for God. That is the most important thing. That's how you let God be your CEO, because you're not doing all the things just for doing all the things' sake. When you sit with God, he gives you the strategy. He tells you what to do. He gives you the peace. He shows you the way, and you're able to do that. That's why I can tell you this 2 hour work day is all God. He's showing me every single day how to shop in my business in 2 hours of my day, and I have so much peace. I can bake cookies. In fact, I just started a cookie business because I love to bake. And why not use your talents and your gifts and your hobbies and learn to make money from it? I've been making orders coming in because I love cookies, guys, and I have so much time because I only have a 2 hour work day with my digital business. It's so amazing, and this is exactly what we get to do. God is going to give you strategy. God is going to give you the path. He's going to show you the path, but you have to drop the hustle culture. You have to stop this thing of thinking that you need to do 10 different things. Even though if you have systems in place, you still have to like run the systems. You know what I mean? If you could simplify your life, simplify your business to just like a handful of things that you need to do on a daily basis, you're gonna have so much peace. And especially if your priorities are not just business, your priorities are your family, you can do so much more with your days, and you're gonna be so much more productive, and you're gonna feel so much more peaceful. And I'm telling you, choose God's culture over hustle culture. It's gonna change your life. Proverb 23 and verse 4 also tells us this, right? Do not overwork to be rich. And that is an important scripture for us to be reminded of as well, that God is not about the hustle. He's about really committing himself to us, ourselves to him, so that we can do what he has called us to do. And this brings me to point 2, letting God lead. I have it on my paper here. Proverb 3 and 5 from 5 to 6 says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Let God lead your path. Give him your business. Tell him, Lord, this is what I want. I want to just be able to do X, Y, and Z in my business. I want an easy, simple way for me to make some income. I want to be able to help. Like, just share with God what is it that you want, what is your desires, and commit it to him. God, I give you this business. Show me how to do this business in a way that honors you, in a way that serves you, in a way that serves your people, right? And he will show you, because that's who God is. He loves when we partner with him. He loves when we're asking him questions. He loves that when we're coming to him. I tell you this story. When I was a young girl, teenager, I remember growing up in church, and there was an elderly lady, and I tell you, this lady could dress. She was a lovely dresser. I admire people who dress well. She's like always put together, matching shoes, matching outfit, matching bag. She had a bob haircut. She's really, really, really gorgeous lady, slim and trim and everything. And one time in church, she made a testimony. She was like, um every day and every time I'm dressing, I ask God, what should I wear? Now, she was a single woman, very advanced in age. She lived by herself, and I remember thinking, oh my goodness, she must be so sad to be living by herself, that she has to ask God what to wear. You don't even have like a sister or a friend to ask, because this is me, right? My sisters are there. Should I wear this, mom? Should I wear that? She's asking God. And now I grew older, I realized what she meant. It wasn't that she didn't have people, probably she had friends to call, who cares? But she was bringing God into every area of her life. And that's why she excelled in her dress code, in the way she presented herself. Everybody commended this lady. I'm telling you, she dressed like amazing. Everybody be like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. I love this. I love that. Even at that age, being a teenager, I did not scorn this lady's outfit. I love the way she dressed. And because she committed it to God, everything that we do, ladies, whether it's our hair, whether it's our makeup, whether it's the way we dress, whether it's our motherhood, our cooking. Let me tell you guys something. I was not a good cook. But I remember praying and asking God. My husband loves to eat and he also loves good food. My husband is a great cook, right? And obviously he's not at home. I was the cook and I was doing really badly with my cooking. And my husband came home one day and he was like, this is not really fair that I should be eating that, right? And I get it because he loved his food. And I remember praying to God and I said, God, help me to be a better cook for my husband. Help me to be a good cook. And every time I'm cooking, I'm like, I just want to give love to this food. I want my husband to feel loved with this food. And I tell you no lie, from that moment on, every time he comes home, my husband be like, this food is so good. This is so delicious. Thank you so much. He enjoys my food. Am I the best cook? No. But people love my food because I committed it to God. Everything that we do, commit it to God. Commit your business to God. Commit the things that you're trying to do to God, and He will establish your step. Let Him be your CEO. Let it go. Give it to Him. He will change it around for you. Trust me. The next thing I want to talk about is refining success for yourself. Redefining, sorry, not refining, redefining success for yourself. I think sometimes when we're thinking about what is it that we want to create in our lives, we think that we need to do so much to get it, right? Because we want maybe to have a big house, or so to you, some people, me, some of us, right, whoever, success may look like having a big house, having a big car, having X amount of money in your bank account, right? But is that really what success is for you? This is the question that you want to ask yourself, because it may be for a lot of people, but it may not be for you. So when I sat with this, I realized what success looked like for me. It's not a big house. It's not a big car, right? One of my dreams is to have a Range Rover, but that's not really important to me. That to me, that's just like, for me, I want to have that as a symbol of I have achieved something, right? But that's not important to me. Success for me looks like time. I have the time. I have peace, right? There's so much fulfillment in my days. I wake up every day so excited for my day. That's success for me, right? Being able to pick my kids up from school, being able to come home, make them a lovely dinner, bake cookies, bake them stuff that they like. That is my success. The time freedom. Me not going to a work, trading time for money, going 8 hours a day at a job that sucks my spirit. That ability that I have to be a stay-at-home mom and I'm able to make some extra income just doing the things that I love is freedom for me, is success for me. So you want to redefine what success looks like for you, and then you're going to be able to really use your time effectively and not hustle to get there. Because sometimes we think that we need to have that X amount of money in our bank account, we need to have a big house, and so we are grinding every day, working, putting this money away, blah blah blah, for this thing that when we have it, we're like, is that it? Is that what I was working so hard for? How many of you, before you became moms, you were grinding and hustling in your workplace, trying to get promotion, trying to get a raise, and then you get it and you're like, that's it? Like I put off all my family time. Maybe you had time with you didn't have time with your parents or whatever because you were working overtime or any of that, and you lost your time, you lost your freedom. And after you got the thing that you wanted, you were like, is that it? So many of us do that, right? We hustle and we grind in our lives, and then we get to what we wanted, and you are like, I have no peace. There's no fulfillment. There's no joy. So really find what success is for you and ask God to help you to achieve that in the way that He wants you to achieve it. Yes, you're going to have to put in some hard work, but you can do it in a simple, easy way that is in alignment with you and who God has called you to be, so that you can show up and be the person who God has called you to be as well. I hope that this has been so helpful for you. So as we wrap up right now, I just want to remind you that you don't need to hustle, you need alignment. When you let God be your CEO, He orders your steps, provides resources, and He gives you peace. I wrote that down and I wanted to just make that clear. This is what God gives you when you give it to Him. He gives you success, He gives you the resources, and He gives you peace. He shows you the way. So let me know if this video has been helpful for you. If it has, put God's way in the comments. Don't forget to like it if it's been really good. Share it with a friend. I would love for you to push this out to other moms who think that they have to be doing, 24-hour jobs, have to be working 8 hours a day and all of these things, because that's not the only way, right? So make sure you like, subscribe to the channel for more videos like these. I'm really, really grateful that I have this platform to be able to support you guys and share these tips that God has been giving to me. It's been really a journey for me and I absolutely love it. And of course, if you'd like to go deeper with more God, more faith, more freedom, more income, more of the abundant life that God has called you to do, my new membership is now open, the Faith and Freedom Moms Collective, where every single month we are going to be doing a different theme. They're going to be monthly masterclass, there's going to be monthly prayer calls, and there's going to be so much support to help you on your journey with God, with your business, working 2 hours per day and having the time freedom that you desire as a mama. So if you'd like to have more of that information as well, put me in the comments and I will send you more details about the Faith and Freedom Moms Collective. All right, take care guys, and see you next week for our next videos. Bye bye.